You ran away. I went to sleep. No one's flexing, you insecure little fuckflaw. Show me where I have. Here, and here. Lamau, you're trash. It's not my fault you act like a cuck. Except there's a difference between passing comments that a few people see and you posting an entire rant on your channel. Dude, don't be a pussy. Don't cook in the corner. Step up or shut the fuck up. You brought this into the public domain. All you gotta do is stop being a cuck. So let's keep it there. So here I am, minding my own business, when suddenly I'm told by a friend that a YouTuber I briefly mentioned in passing in Discord went and made a, I guess you could say, reaction video to my comments about his channel. Now, I'm not one for pointless drama, but when I made some innocuous comments on a Discord server, the server of which is unrelated to this individual, and then get not only a very confrontational series of messages calling me out, but then an entire 17-minute long rant about how wrong I am, straight up insulted continuously through private messages, and then a stream which he continues to rant for over an hour about it, I feel I'm obligated to make a response. For the sake of sanity, we will be handling this all in chronological order, starting with a brief description of the crybaby in question, and then a breakdown of all of his responses, and I'll leave you all to make your decision on who is at fault here. Also, I'm not going to bother using my normal emotion-heavy art because that would take a lot more time, and this guy's already taken up more than my time than he deserves, so yeah. Now, the person in question is Kohai's Home, a YouTuber who seems to make content which, how should I put it, makes some of the most redundant content I've ever seen. One of the best ways to grow as a small YouTube channel is to create original content. Lacking that, you should try your best to be the first and best person to release a type of content before anyone else. Looking over his last dozen videos, I see a number of videos which all discuss topics which have either been discussed by lots of other larger channels, or seem to be clickbait titles designed to pull people in. Only to reiterate what said larger channel said. Personally, this channel seems like many small channels like it, which tries to follow trends to gain a following. These channels are very common and normally not worth my time. However, Kohai here really seems to like talking about the Vic Mignogna situation, something which 4 larger YouTubers cover almost to a fault. Every angle of the story is already being covered, but Kohai here decides he wants to add his 2 cents about every little detail, and he uploads an almost religious basis. I guess if I was an introverted teenager who worked a part-time job, I would have the time to do it too. That was a joke, by the way, before Kohai here makes a 3rd video about me cyberbullying him. So, if I don't care about this channel, why does he care about me? Well, it's simple. In a public Discord whose owner has asked me to keep him anonymous, I commented on a conversation. Here, as you can see, is how it went. Senpai's Home is just Perfection 2.0, and Supergirl is just its anime girl. I don't know what any of this means. I know Perfection is weird, but what did Supergirl do? I'm talking about Senpai and Supergirl. They're sketchy. Thank you. I know I spelled it wrong. Why do you think they're sketchy? I don't watch any of your content, so I appreciate if you'd enlighten me. No one knows who Supergirl really is, or if Senpai was attacking anyone and everyone over this whole controversy. He went after Team 4-Star and Geekdom 101. I know Supergirl. Well, I don't know about no. I've met her. Senpai is super sketchy. Supergirl, not as much, but they both seem like people trying to grab onto the coattails of controversy. Supergirl seems more like your average, or so nicer than average, S-poster. Where Senpai reminds me of any small YouTube channel who tries to attach themselves to larger stories for attention. I've worked on YouTube for a long time, and I can't watch Senpai's content because it gives me that impression. Yeah, he's milking it, I feel. Just for his own gains. Supergirl is sketch-tastic, too. We already have Tug, Flash, and Hay reporting on it, with Nick doing his streams. The information and events are being covered by every angle. At this point, everyone else trying to make videos on it are repeating what they're saying. Now I made a single video summarizing the entire situation all into a single video, since it seemed like nobody had tied it all together in a short, simple package. But Senpai is taking what everyone is saying and adding his own commentary, which is fine, but when you're the 5th person to jump on a piece of news, it feels like you're just trying to get some views out of it. Now notice here I specifically say views. I never mention ad revenue. I know as someone with a pretty small channel myself, There's a nice rush of energy you get when your videos get views. It can be addicting, even if you don't make money off it. Like a high school bully getting cheered on for dunking the nerd in the bathroom toilet. He isn't making money out of it, but getting that social satisfaction from his peers for doing it. Someone who seems like an introvert like our friend Kohai is likely denied these feelings in his real life and relies on his YouTube views for that social validation. This is something I see many small YouTube channels do, and it's completely understandable. Supergirl just seems to be a retweet machine in my opinion. Her videos, seem redundant, but her Twitter feed isn't bad if you're looking for a good source of retweets. I've taken a break from all this for the past month. I've been silent on here and haven't watched many of the streams, but now with the depositions out, I felt it might be good to pop my head up. I'm honestly unsurprised to see people turning on Senpai. Like I said, I've worked on YouTube for a long time and could see what he was doing from the start. Small channels are desperate for views. Now, if you saw someone saying this about your content, how would you react? Personally, I'd thank him for their criticism and see if I could make improvements on my content. I'm constantly asking my audience for criticism and critiques to better myself and my work to be more enjoyable. I openly welcome it. Well, our young friend Kohai here seems to want to take the more adolescent approach. If you'd like to debate about it, you know where to find me. I actually give normal people the time of day, so DMs are always open, mate. Normal people? Wait, are you implying that you're not normal? Perfection 2.0, huh? I'd love to see you validate those points. Let's get in a voice chat and talk about it, big guy. My DMs are open and you know where to find me. Settle down. Like I said, I have no problem challenging anyone's points, and I'm down to give anyone below me the time of day. Wait, anyone below you? Watch out, we got a badass big roller over here. Apparently we're all just lowly plebeians, and this gracious kid is blessing us with his presence. Honestly, for somebody barely over 10k subs, you seem to think of yourself in a very elevated manner. Offers always there. Below you? Nobody's below you. You are. Okay, Ubermensch. You used the perfection card, and when I told you to prove it, you backed down like everyone else. That's the definition of being below someone. I didn't back down, lol. Then let's voice chat now. Oh, what a little bitch. Shit talks and backs down. LOL. Name calling? Not a good look, my dude. He messaged me screenshots of him talking with other people long after I left the chat, because he needs to know how he destroyed me with his facts and logic. Now, let's take a quick look at his channel, shall we? Yeah, this does seem like your typical drama following channel. Well, he claims I'm wrong about it. Let's take a look at some examples. Afrofuture Fest. Yeah, they were the ones with the price for different races. When was this uploaded? July 7th? Oh yeah! Timcast made a video that morning about it. You must be a subscriber of his, which is why you saw it. Well, maybe this was a rare occasion. Let's try another. Belle Delphine Bathwater. I remember lots of videos about that. When was this? Huh. Oh, hey, look. Pyrocynical also made a video on this subject the same day you did. I guess he's a Pyro sub as well. You see, to me it looks like the minute a larger YouTuber makes a video about something, where a sudden topic gets thrust into the public eye and other channels start covering it, you feel the need to do the same thing. But don't worry, you're not alone. Lots of small YouTubers are stuck in the never-ending rush to make videos on popular topics verbatim. Anyways, Kohai then proceeds, and I shit you not, to make an entire video dedicated to proving me wrong. So now, together, we're going to look through his video and take it apart piece by piece. I hope you brought a snack.
Bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing, guys?
Okay, let's stop right there. $140, I'm guessing in a month, because that's the default, is more than enough to buy a much better microphone than whatever he's using right now. Hell, the one I'm using right now is $60 on Amazon. Invest in yourself, Kohai. It's the only way to grow.
Anyway, let me make a
quick video. 17 minutes long is quick. Okay. Benefit of the doubt. Maybe half of it's shilling it.
Video on a certain topic that happened, God, last night. This is the type of stuff I have to deal with pretty much on a regular. It's what happens when you don't play nice and you are actually overly, just very forward, very blunt, and very opinionated.
Excuse me, what? This is what happens when you're blunt? I don't recall a single one of my critiques having anything to do with you being blunt.
It happens. It comes with the territory. Most of the time I don't even seek this drama out. It's just that my words seem to touch a nerve with most of these people.
Most of the time, I don't even see. We aren't even 30 seconds into this video, and he's already acting like he's been accosted by somebody. Like he was minding his own business, and then somebody came and slighted him. Remember, I simply joined a small conversation that mentioned him, and quickly gave my opinion. This was on a Discord server completely unrelated to him. He actively came over and injected himself into this situation.
For some reason or another, and there's either a hint of truth to it, or just very, very fragile egos. So, whenever this happens, I figured, hey, why not address it? Again, the only reason I'm going to address this, though, is because I challenged this person to a debate, just between me and him, or it could have been a live audience, it doesn't really matter to me. But I did challenge this individual in question to a debate, and they kind of Shane Holmberg'd out. Well, granted, to Shane's credit, he actually showed up the first time.
I went to sleep. Like, literally. I went to bed. You see, Kohai, some of us work what's called third shift. We sleep during the day, so we can work full-time during the night. I understand you're the one who's complaining about how hard it was to work part-time and edit videos, so I wouldn't expect a young one like yourself to understand this concept.
It starts off with this server, and the thing about servers nowadays is that despite all the people that dislike me, there are those that are incredibly loyal. So to those that are incredibly loyal, thank you very much, and I will always return the favor in terms of loyalty and all of that.
Basically, he's saying thanks for snitching.
So when I said that I'm like Pensacon and I have eyes everywhere, that's not a bluff, that's a reality. Just get that straight. There you go. Anyway, chances are if you're talking crap like this and I'm around, I'll probably address you, which is why this person started off and said, Senpai is super sketchy. Supergirl, not as much, but they both seem like people trying to grab onto the coattails of controversy. Supergirl seems more like an average or so nicer than average poster, where Senpai reminds me of many small YouTubers who try to attach themselves to larger stories for attention. He then follows up by saying, the last part, totally validating everything. I've worked on YouTube for a long time and I can't watch Senpai's content because it gives me that impression. Okay, so let's address all these points accordingly. Starting off with the first one, Senpai is super sketchy. How so?
Take a look at the last dozen videos you've posted. You seem to try and make a video on every little controversial story that hits YouTube. That's sketchy to me. It seems like someone desperate to get views on something.
I'm, like, I'll make it short, sweet, and to the point. I literally told you. I have a lot to say. Let's talk about it, big guy. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Doesn't matter. Like, you have no idea how open, transparent I'm willing to be with most people. Like, I give people that I probably shouldn't give the time of day.
Ah, yes. Us lower people. The normal people. We aren't worth your time, but you give it to us anyway. How blessed we are.
I don't discriminate on who you are, how much of a sub count you have or anything, or whatever. I don't. I really don't. I'd like you to find someone else that's done that for you or for anybody else, because you probably can't find them, because they probably don't want to give you the time of day or would never. But I personally go ahead and do it, and whether or not that backfires on me in the sense that everybody feels like they can go ahead and have an argument against me, it's... I mean, if you guys think you can, go ahead. It's kind of like the Emish route, where Emish is always like, can be bad-mouthed or whatever, and then Emish just says, alright, you think you got me, you think you're gonna get me, go ahead, let's go into the VC, let's talk about it. Silence. Everybody just walks away.
Nobody wants to voice chat you for the same reason I don't want to go on John Oliver's show when I comment that I think it's trash. He's not worth my time, and honestly, neither are you. But I'm apparently worth yours. So since you felt the need to publicize all this, here I am.
Why am I not surprised? That's why I'm kind of taking the Emish route. It's like, you want to try to test my merit? Go for it. Go for it. Let's go. Anytime, man. Anytime. So long as I can make time, because I actually have a life. So yeah, not always on Discord or whatever. And yeah, just saying, if you think you can convey a good argument, by all means. But just be aware, I've debated Emish in the past. If you think that I'm sweating anybody below him, no, I'm actually not.
Again, here's a comment showing his opinion of anybody with a sub count below his standard. Us plebeians aren't worth his sweat.
I'm just saying, my dude. Anyway, Supergirl not as much. They both seem like people trying to grab onto the coattails of controversy. Disagree, because Supergirl was actually looking into this since the end of, what was it, January? And, I mean, I know the Vic accusations have been years. It's been, like, I don't want to say documented, but it's been proven to have been multiple years, and plus where these rumors of Vic have started. So she wasn't in that long, but she certainly was reading up on stuff, like, around January, late January, early February. So, grabbing onto the coattails of controversy, kind of invalid. And you go ahead and you say that she's average, poster, or whatever, and then you go ahead and you say that I remind you of many smaller channels trying to attach themselves to larger stories for attention, and that you can validate this simply because you've worked on YouTube for a while or whatever.
It's okay. Take your time. Think. Rationalize your answer. Alright. What do you have to say?
Okay. That still doesn't really prove anything to me, at least. That's not a solid argument.
You didn't say anything. You just said I'm wrong and didn't really give an argument.
I could be on YouTube many years too, but I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, this is definitely what's happening. Because for all intents and purposes, I could just say that about anybody else, right? I mean, that doesn't make it so.
Okay. Maybe you're trying to react to this in real time. I'll give you that.
Well, let's continue reading on to what he's also said after. He goes ahead and he says that we already have Tug, Flash, and Hay reporting on it with Nick doing his streams. The information and events are being covered by every angle. That sounds a little bit like gatekeeping to me, my dude. Anyway, at this point, everyone else trying to make videos on it or repeating what they're saying, you are making it seem like Tug, Flash, Hero are the ones getting this information, like, you know, on a regular. Like, you do know that the only lawyer is Ricada, right? The only one that legitimately cannot afford to mess up and will always have things first more than anything is Ricada, right? The second would be the farms, right? So as for Tug, Flash, and Hey, as much as I love all of them, that's invalid. You're making it seem like they're the end-all, be-all, and you're gatekeeping, and that's just not the case, Buddy Boo.
No, it sounds like the truth. When you have so many people covering a topic, anyone else throwing the same content out on their channel comes off to me as desperate. It's not gatekeeping to not hire a fourth accountant when there are 3 accountants you have that do a fine job on their own. It's called supply and demand. Again, you simply claim I'm invalid, but saying Ricada is the only lawyer and that Tug, Flash, and Hey aren't? They don't need to be lawyers to report on this information. They do, however, take their time, or at least try to, validate what they have to report a solid opinion on what's being presented.
Just sorry to break your dreams or whatever, but that's not the case. Sorry. At this point, I'm really trying to make videos on it and reporting what they're saying and repeating what they're saying. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that I'm repeating phrase for phrase what Yellow Flash or Hero Hey or Tug is saying.
When you make a video on a topic but offer no new information that somebody else has already provided, then it's a redundant performance. You don't need to copy someone word from word to be adding to a level of redundancy.
I'll put money on that too. I'll put the small amount of revenue that I'm actually getting, that I show you that I'm getting later on it.
You know, for someone so transparent, you don't seem to like showing the rest of your analytics. For example, here's mine. As you can see, this looks different than his. His is from the old YouTube studio, which I'm not even sure is still accessible. But since there's no timestamp shown in his screenshot, this could have been taken who knows when. And it's only a small section of his analytics. The full page here shows you everything. Views, subs, revenue, and what videos are doing what. For example, my Star Trek compilation has been getting a lot of views lately. That's pretty nice.
I'll put the small amount of revenue that I'm actually getting, that I show you that I'm getting later on it.
No, please, invest in better recording equipment. I think we'd all appreciate that.
Because I'm highly unlikely. And then you even contradict yourself later on as we continue talking about it. Let's go ahead and continue now. This is a little bit of self-promotion on his part. This is how I know he's probably salty that he's not getting the recognition, because he goes ahead and he says, now I made a single video on the situation, summarizing the entire situation into a single video, since it seemed like nobody had tied all things together in a short, simple package. So you're making a comparison now to me and you. That's where I see the salt come in.
Now here in this post, I'm referencing a quick video that I made that summed up the whole kickfix situation, so that people new to this situation would have a source of reference, so they didn't need to go back and rewatch hundreds of videos on the subject. I use this example because it shows how someone who isn't, the big four, can make content on the subject without being redundant. Supplying a new unique video on a saturated topic, that's the entire purpose of this example. I don't link the video, I didn't praise how many views it has, I never bragged about anything about my channel. I simply use this as an example to show you, Kohai. Make redundant content that follows everyone else.
Kind of, because nobody asked you about your channel. Nobody even, not once. There was no reason for you to bring up your channel. However, you're kind of trying to do the comparison thing now, because there's no reason for you to bring up your channel and then follow it up, but Senpai is just taking, okay, well, let's go on. But Senpai is just taking what everyone is saying and adding his own commentary. How is that repeating what Flash Tug, if I'm adding my own commentary to it? It's not 100% repeating, my guy. That's where you messed up.
It's repeating because you are literally stating the same exact points as everyone else. But get this, in your own words. If someone asked me what time it is, and I say it's 8:15, then you jump in and say, it's 8:15. You are adding redundant information in your answer on the question. It might not be a word for what I said, but it is an unnecessary level of information. But hey, if that's the content you want to make, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. I'll just judge you for doing it. For someone so lowly and beneath you, why do I stand such a threat of gatekeeping you?
First problem, which is fine. Thank you for giving me your permission. I don't need it, but okay, cool. But when you are the 5th person to jump on a piece of news, it feels like, how am I the 5th person to jump on it? I'm pretty sure I made a video before Ricada regarding...
Here, he's just completely missing the point in cherry-picking a single video. As proof he doesn't follow a trend, which we showed earlier he has a tendency to do.
Yes. I'm not trying to take shots at Ricada. Let's look at the dates, my guy. You're kind of sounding a little bit like Perfection right now when he went ahead and he made this claim that he was the first person to talk about this stuff, and then Hero kind of proved him wrong. So let's get that straight. Am I really the 5th person to talk about this? Again, pretty sure I talked about it around February-ish. Just saying. And again, if you've looked at my previous content, you'd know this is exactly the type of stuff that I don't like. So again, I'm waiting for your points to hold any weight, but slowly by surely, that's a new phrase I came up with. Slowly but surely, this is kind of going downhill, and it's kind of disappointing because I really did want to VC with you. And the challenge is still there, my guy. If you want to have some redemption after this, by all means, we'll address this.
I have a feeling I'll live without your offer for redemption.
Like, this isn't me back in my spurging days. Things are gonna go a little differently this time around, but just a little heads up for you or anybody else. Anyway, go along with it. You're the fifth person to jump on a piece of news, feels like you're trying to get some views out of it. This is the first time this individual brings up the views argument, which leads me to believe that his main issue is about money, because what are views essentially for on YT, on YouTube? It's about money.
He's really stuck on this views means money argument. You're sounding like a broken record, which makes me sound like a broken record for having to comment on it. Stop making me sound like a broken record.
Views equal money. It's very simple. Other than that, what would you be upset about? Who cares? Who cares about? Do you know how many people are allowed to make the same content I am? Do you know how many people still are? Like, whether or not they're successful, that's up to the audience to decide. That's not on me. Like, I legitimately just spoke what was on my mind. It resonated with the majority of my fan base that I had at the time, because they know what I'm about. The original 3,700 OGs know what I'm about. They know who I am. They know what I don't like. So obviously they were behind me, and then more people got behind me. It resonated, my guy. That's just all it was. It just resonated.
And you know what? That's perfectly fine. You can make whatever content you watch, and if people want to watch it, they can. But I reserve the right to call you sketchy and an attention seeker for it. I dislike a lot of people's content, who get tons of views, because I personally don't like how they make their content. They are free to make it, and I'm free to critique it. Except, when I critique Flash for posting information which was inaccurate, Flash doesn't then DM me calling me a cuck and a pussy for not joining his Google Hangout. Because Flash isn't an adolescent boy trying to look cool in front of his friends.
That's how it is. Anyway, go on to say that they're trying to get views out of it. So you say Supergirl is trying to be a retweet machine. Her videos, yes, seem redundant, but her Twitter feed isn't bad for people looking for a good source of retweets. Whatever. As we're talking about Supergirl now, you can go ahead and take that up with her. I've taken a break from all this for the past month. Been side on here and haven't watched many of the streams. Haven't watched many of the streams. All right, so that means you're uninformed right off the bat. Hope you get informed, my guy. Anyway, but now with the depositions out, I feel like it might be a good idea to pop my head out. Okay, there you go. Some nice self-promotion for yourself.
Self-promotion, huh? Let's pop over to my YouTube channel real quick. Really pulling in those people to watch my abundance of new content.
Good stuff, dude. Can I remind you that nobody asked you about your channel ever? Like, nobody cares. Like, can you get one person in that server that legitimately says, I want to hear about your channel? No. You literally brought up yourself to make a side-by-side comparison between me and you, for whatever reason. Saying, oh, you have better content, essentially. That's kind of how it looked like.
I wouldn't say better. Maybe more original. Less like an attention-seeking child. Well, there was that one Twitch video. Some might consider it better. Who knows? Ask my subs.
Well, that's even worse than what Cody did, because Cody only said, hey, maybe you guys should, make your content more worthwhile, while you're legitimately, like, kind of going at me, like, saying, and you're picking me of all people, which is hilarious, because I am not the smallest. I stand with big YouTuber. You do know that, right? Maybe I'm the smallest known one, and everybody else, which is an insult to them, by the way. You're just overlooking everybody else, which is really kind of an insult.
Well, Kohai, I'm talking about you, because it's what the conversation was about when I mentioned it. I'd like to take a second to remind everyone this was all started because of a couple posts I made on a Discord in reply to other people talking about it. I don't know why you obsess so much over me and my statements, but apparently I struck a chord.
Kind of hilarious at the same time, So I wonder how they would feel to know that. I don't know, man. Just saying. Just saying. Oh no. Anyway, what else have you said? Taking a break. You go on and say, you're not unsurprised to see people turning on me. Yeah, but people like you going around spreading misinformation all around.
I don't recall stating anything that was factually untrue. So much for those facts and logic, am I right? And
just hating for no reason, and then me calling them out, and then you guys getting scared and running away. Yeah, I don't blame it. But that's another reason why I'm like Vic in a way. And I love how every single time people like this always give me a reason to say I'm like Vic in this way, because you guys are legitimately so envious and salty that you'll make up your own little conclusions, and when you're called out on it, you'll just Ron Toye away, which is what you did.
I guess I'm just like the soy boy because I have a life and don't debate teenagers on Google Hangouts. It's a sad life.
And I'll show it in just a second. Anyway, you go ahead and you said, like I've said, I've worked on YouTube for a long time, and from the start, small channels are desperate for views. So you're looking down on small channels again, and you're focusing on the views, which is what you're sounding a lot like the pedantic romantic actually did like 2 months ago. Sad, very sad. Whatever, man, whatever. Anyway, we go on, and I actually end up showing this guy my revenue at the very end to go ahead and counter his whatever arguments, because I mean he's emphasizing it on views and how blah 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 blah, views equal money.
Again, revenue and views being convoluted here.
He's worked on YouTube, so this is 100% true. Anyway, I show him what I make on YouTube, and it's surprisingly not that much. Not very surprisingly. When I say that I'm constantly demonetized, I mean I'm constantly demonetized. And if my video flops within the first hour, like, it's not going to get out there as much, right? So yeah, that's my revenue. Try to find someone else who would do that. Don't think you would. Anyway, that's what my counter to him is. I say a whole bunch of other things, and I tell him basically, yo, if you have a lot to say, go ahead, hit me up. And this is his response after like a couple hours when I'm already sleeping. He says, sharing your revenue with me has nothing to do with you beating a dead horse. Highly disagree, since your main focus was the views, my guy, and views equal money, but okay, you can keep trying to twist it any way you want. Anyway, he continues on by saying, I'm not going to DM you because I mentioned my opinion about your channel in a conversation with other people. More like one person that was originally upset at me, and then the other person that was basically saying, like, disagreeing with you. At least I don't think the person's against me, because even today he kind of stood up for me in a way. He just said that I am trying to fix my reputation or my image, and you know, just like anybody else, right? And I agree with that. And I said that's exactly what I'm doing, just like Vic would. What's different here, my guy? I'm waiting. Please go ahead. Go ahead. Anyway, what do you want me to say? Hey, I think you're making redundant content. I mean that would be short, sweet, and to the point. But your focus was more on the views and the small channels bit. That's how I know you're salty, and you promoted yourself all you wanted. Do whatever you want with your channel. I plan to, my guy. I have every right to have an opinion on publicly posted content, just like people can criticize my channel. There you go, bring up your channel again. Nobody really cares. Nobody ever brought it up. The only thing, you brought it up. You brought it up because you're trying to become relevant. At least that's how it looks like. I will criticize whoever content I wish. Good for you, man. Good for you. And maybe one day it'll resonate enough with a fan base where they actually freaking care. That's all I have to say. Like, maybe. All in all, do I want to counter these final arguments? You mentioned your... Okay, whatever. I mentioned your opinion about your channel in a conversation with other people. I already addressed that. There's like more like 2 people. One disagreed. One was already mad at me prior, but then I fixed it with him, so who's really agreeing with you anymore? Anyway, second part. What do you want me to say? Hey, I think making your content... you're making redundant content. I mean, that would have been short, sweet, and to the point. Wouldn't have made you look salty. Then, I mean, you emphasized, again, on small channels and views. That was your main focus throughout the majority of your rant. Just saying, man. Just saying. Do whatever you want with your channel. Of course, I plan to. It's my channel, my guy. And then you're trying to put in the whole, oh, I have the right to criticize. Yeah, you do. You do. But, like, you're not just criticizing the content, mind you. You're criticizing me, the person.
I'm criticizing you, the creator making content on a public platform in regards to your content. I didn't insult you directly. I made every accusation directed at your channel and at your style of content. You, on the other hand, oh boy, are we in for fun.
And you're making these whole little assumptions on me, and I'm just here saying, my guy, let me tell you why that's BS. Let me go ahead and tell you why that's BS and shut you up, just like I've shut up many other people before.
If you made it this far, I thank you, because now we're gonna get into the real juicy bits. The part Kohai was very careful not to show his audience. I mean, he's just so transparent. What would he have to hide? May I welcome you into the world of private messages, where people tend to show their truer side of their personality, like a smiling Chris Sabat who says he's in your corner, only to privately discuss how horrible you are. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Kohai's home, the DM Catastrophe. You seem to have a lot of time on your hand to focus on the success of others, at least me, which is another sign of envy. I made a couple comments, and you turned this into something it wasn't. No one's flexing, you insecure little fuck lol. Show me where I have. Here, and here. I'm not envious of you. I'll make that very clear. I've been where you are and moved on with my life. I've worked as an editor on this platform for a long time now. I've been in charge of channels many times the size of yours. My own personal channel is still half the size of yours, and I have a JonTron level upload schedule. I do this as a hobby now. As someone who's been where you are, and who is often talking with many smaller YouTube channels and seeing them grow, I see many different patterns in what they do. I see you doing this with your content. Again, I'm not obsessed with you. You're the one who called me out after making comments in passing in someone else's Discord. You seem to be bothered by this much more than I am, which is not at all. My comments are based on one thing, your videos. You make videos which seem to just reiterate what other larger channels have said. That's my problem with your content. I don't have an issue with Hey or Flash or Tug because they all make content that talks about different relevant things from different angles. Yeah, they hit the same topic, but that just tells me that the topic is now saturated. It's covered by all angles. It's kind of hard to repeat a creator when you don't even watch him. Second, you're gonna assume that I'm like every other channel you've encountered, lol. Okay then, I don't care about your history. Personally, it still doesn't seem like a valid reason to make presumptuous statements. You called me out first by calling me sketchy, you idiot. Trust me, there's a way to convey certain things, and the way you conveyed it very clearly gave off the vibe that you know me inside and out, which sadly you don't. And as stated by others, the fact that you're even bringing me up the way you are does say something, especially me in particular. No, I don't know you inside and out, which is why I used the statement sketchy. Sketchy means that you come off as someone I can't quite trust up front. I mean, they can be said for the big boys, even more so. But you didn't go down that route, do ya? Except for Nick. Nick has a job at risk, so he can't lie. Everyone else, regardless of a number, is not a god. This is coming from a guy who literally talked down to everyone as if they were below him. Flash has been fairly sketchy too, but I know Hay and Tug tend to cover his bases with their content. I don't think anyone is a god, lol. Have you talked to them personally? For various hours? Multiple times? I've redacted the names here as to not implicate anyone who'd rather not be involved. Not with blank or blank. I've spoken with blank, yes, multiple times. That's why I tend to trust Blank a little more than the others. Blank comes off to me as a little more trustworthy, but that's just an impression. Again, we're talking about impressions here. You come off to me as sketchy. That's my impression. I'm sorry your content makes me feel that way. That feeling is now skyrocketed as someone just PM'd me telling me you went and made a video about me? For making passing comments in someone else's Discord? Did you the courtesy of blurring out your name and not giving up who you are, but still countered every argument? You can unblur my name. I don't mind. It's a public server. It's still immature to go out of your way to make a video on the subject. Oh no, I just don't want to give you attention. Nah, not really. You clearly wanted to waste your time on the subject. You didn't accept the challenge. What challenge? You ran away. I went to sleep. You still didn't accept, lol. Because it's stupid. Well then, don't make stupid comments. You're the one throwing a fit over someone you don't know on a Discord channel criticizing you. You're not criticizing. I believe I am. You're making presumptuous statements that can make someone's reputation look worse than it is, and I can't help but overlook how many mistakes you made in your little rant. Rant. Lol. That's what it came off as. You know how much time I put into that rant? Your prior statement. I literally saw people talking about you, gave my 2 cents, and left. One person. You know, as people do, on Discord and Reddit. They make comments on things people are talking about. I'm sorry it offended you. It was pretty random, my guy. We can go ahead and scroll up. Well, I mean, I tend to be a bit confrontational. That's an understatement. And unlike the big boys, I can get away with debating anyone. So I took the time to throw my 2 cents in. I don't want to debate you because you weren't worth my time. But apparently I'm worth yours, since you went and made a whole video about me. And give you an option as well. Lamau, you're trash. Except there's a difference between passing comments that a few people see and you posting an entire rant on your channel. Dude, don't be a pussy. You know, insulting someone directly like that is the first step to losing a debate, and we haven't even started. Not really. I'm still conveying a point. It's not my fault you act like a cuck. I've put out my reasoning for everything I've said, and you've posted screen grabs of them and insulted me. I mean, this reminds me of someone. You didn't counter anything. A couple people, actually. Yeah, you remind me of Toye. A certain Ron and Shane who just blindly insult everyone who tweets at them. Don't cook in the corner. Step up or shut the fuck up. Okay, kid. Anytime. Offer still stands. You brought this into the public domain. All you gotta do is stop being a cuck. So let's keep it there. Okay, you want some fame then? Cool. You want a live stream debate? Anything for you. No, not everyone's like you. Winky face. I'll send you something soon. Take care. Okay, Ron. Nice smiley face, cuck. He then posts a link to a hangout, and then sent me the final video after the hangout, which was like over an hour long of him with his buddies ranting about how apparently I'm a cuck. So yeah, I mean, go watch it if you want. I didn't bother. So there it is. Kohai's true colors. This is how he treats people. He refers to them as lower than himself, calls people he disagrees with pussies, losers, cucks, and worst of all, soy boy. Honestly, if you're going to take anything away from this, is that if you want to get involved in the YouTube community, you need to be prepared for something like this. People are always going to take shots at you, criticize you, and it might feel like it's unfair, but the best thing you could do is keep your head down and power through. Try to use criticism to help yourself improve, and do your best to be the best creator you can be. Don't attack every individual who says something about you. Don't make videos out of blind rage, especially when you omit so much information that someone like me can easily turn on its head. Just try your best to create the channel you want to create. As for Kohai, I'm not going to give him any more time of day. I'm going to upload this video, then I'm probably never going to think of him ever again. I'm going to move on with my life and try my best to give you guys the content you deserve. So as always, my name's Gio, and just for today, this is the Wind Train Network. Wind Train, we're better than you lowly normies, and we know it.